Okay. All right. Well, for those watching the show screaming, stop talking about unders. Fine. We'll give you one. We'll give you one here. Wake and NC State. We're going ACC. Wake and North Carolina are still scoring. They just scored a few minutes ago. Sam Hartman just ran for another touchdown and threw one in the next play. He's got 2 touchdowns in 2 plays. That's all they do is score.
You know what I just found out this yesterday, actually, doing the show on Sports Grid. They played North Carolina, Wake Forest did, and it wasn't a conference game, despite the fact that they're in the same conference. Can you explain that to me, athletic director guy?
Yeah, well, college football is a mess. I mean, it's just a mess. It's just a mess how they do things. It's a mess with the playoff system. It's a mess with conference realignment. Notre Dame, are they in the ACC? Are they not in the ACC? North Carolina and Wake play, but it's not an ACC. I mean, just it's college football. Play the circuit. Newbie, you got any circus music? That's your answer. There's your explanation.
I was like, wait, they're in the same conference. He's like, yeah, but it was like a makeup game. They had an open date. They moved the games. I'm like, so you played a conference game that don't count in a conference. That's pretty good. Okay. So Wake can still win the ACC despite losing an ACC game that didn't count. So they're undefeated in conference play despite losing to a conference team. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yes. All right. So there we are. All right. Bunch of things to talk about in this game. The 115th meeting between these two.
What?
115th meeting. Only the second time both of them have been ranked.
Wow. This is a big game.
Out of 115. And by the way, thank you to the Raleigh News Observer for that nugget. I didn't come up with that on my own. That was Raleigh News Observer. That's amazing. 115 meetings, 2 times they're ranked. Okay, we know about the Wake offense. I mean, Sam Hartman, who I just mentioned, man, he has been good. Threw for 5 touchdowns last week, ran for 2 more. You want to talk about a Heisman guy? I mean, I know he's Wake Forest and they don't get the normal national love. My man Sam Hartman has to be in the discussion. He's putting up silly numbers. 27 touchdown passes on the season. All right, let's try and talk a little bit about NC State's defense. I tried this earlier this season. I was sure that my guy, Tony Gibson, the defensive coordinator at NC State, would go into Mississippi State and lock up the Bulldogs. And they let me down. They let me down. They let me down. But you know what?
And I told everybody out here in Vegas, I said, I got this guy. He knows the D coordinator. Like he says they're going to play he's going to do. I told everybody, and they came at me on Saturday late afternoon. They're like, what's your guy saying now? I'm like, he ain't answering the phone. That's the problem right now. My guy ain't answering the phone.
It was a wonderful, perfect handicap that didn't work. And it wasn't right.
That's sports. Listen, that's sports gambling. Sometimes that happens.
Now, if you do go back, his defense was pretty good that night. The offense let him down, but he gave up.
The offense was bad.
Since then, since I haven't talked about Gibby and the defense for a number of weeks, they've been lights out. Of course, they've been excellent. They're playing.
So maybe stop talking about it. Maybe
20th nationally in yards per play defense. 17th overall nationally.
Here he goes.
They can play. They're second here. You want to talk of stuff rate? Second nationally in stuff rate.
Mega stuff.
They stuff now. Ooh. Now that Wake's going to want to throw it on you, right? I mean, they can run it, but they're going to want to throw it on you. Is this a little bit of an inflated line here for Wake? I mean, and the totals is this one? Do you want to play an under in this one? Are you afraid of an under when it comes to Wake? Because I might be, but is that number up because you just saw them go 58-55 last week? Is that number up a little bit? Do we have some value if we go under and think NC State's defense might bring it a little bit at home?
66.5 is a high number, is it not? I mean, we've been talking about these totals like in the 70s. You got to get such a clean ride to get there over 66.5. You know what you've dubbed things now, the show me game or the show me total. And I love that because we want to see it before we believe it. So I think I need to see this Wake Forest team do it against a good defense before I can say, oh, they're just going to light it up. Cautiously, I want to see Wake Forest win because I didn't realize they're still alive to get in the playoff and all this other stuff. Hard game sidewise to handicap. I'm leaning Wake Forest. I think I'm leaning under, B-How. I'm leaning under because it is inflated. It needs to be. But you got Gibby and this thing you keep talking about in my head, and I keep thinking about it. Like, if this defense is that good, they're going to game plan. Wake doesn't really run the ball, right? I mean, they pass the ball.
They're going to pass. They can run a little bit, and Hartman can take off and scramble, but they want to throw it. They want Hartman to throw it, yes. And so NC State's strength is against the run. So that you got to factor that in a little bit here. But big game, important game, big rivalry game. Where that was a non-conference game for Wake, but was also their first loss. So mentally, is there just a little bit of the undefeated? Do you get a little bit of that? At 66.5, as we've said, we only need a few stops in there for this thing to go under. This to me is one of those. I don't know about side. I mean, we could flip a coin on that. To me, this would be play the under and see if Wake can do it again against what has been a pretty good defense with Tony Gibson. And if it lets us down again, then Gibby, I'm not talking about you again on this show. You're out.
Gibby, you got another shot. You got another shot. But I'm sorry that he keeps talking. Last time he talked about so much, it didn't work out so well. So no more talking about this game. No more talking about Gibby, the NC State defense. But I'm leaning under with you as well. I want to see Wake win. I want to keep them alive in the discussion.
I get it. Yeah.
Not that I think they can win the national championship, but it's fun when this guy Hartman and he scores. It's different. Yeah. And it's a team that, like, everybody's like, Wake who? That's Wake Forest. Yeah. So what time is that game? That game is
the night game, I think, right?
It is. We'll be watching at 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern, under the lights. Is Wake Forest is that going to be that's going to be a jam-packed crowd for Wake Forest football.
Oh, yeah. I mean, right down the road from each other. I mean, and that's why they played 115 times. And that's a fun game. And that's what I mean. Emotions high, NC State at home. Listen, NC State's 89th in pace on offense. We didn't even talk about NC State's offense, so they want to go a little bit slower. I think you play the under and hold on. Play the under and hold on if Sam Hartman starts going bananas.
Perfect. All right.
Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, click on another video right here on the screen. And if you really liked it, consider subscribing below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.